everyone loves to talk about Dubai, whether it's good or bad. Some people see it's a paradise for entrepreneurs full of opportunities. Others call it a place built on exploitation with no real culture. But what is the truth? I've been living here for almost 2 years now, 2 years since I left France to start fresh in this unique city. And so in this video, I'm going to share my honest opinion, what's good about Dubai and what's not so good. So my name is Edouard Merle du Bourg. I'm an entrepreneur. I run a business with my brother that help others entrepreneurs grow their income to 100k, 200k or even 500k a month. Personally, I do 500k a month through this business, but I make this video to help you get even better results. And so by the end of this video, you will have a clearer idea of what Dubai is really like and whether it's a place you could love or not. So what's the big deal about Dubai? If we are honest, the main reason most people are drawn here is the lack of taxes. Well, almost, because recently Dubai introduced a corporate tax of 9%, but there is still no income tax, and that's a game changer. And so for someone coming from a country like France, this is a huge shift, because in France and other countries in Europe, taxes are everywhere. You pay corporate tax if you run the business, income tax on your salary, and taxes on almost anything else that can be taxed. And so investing is no different. Before you can invest, you pay tax on your earnings, then you finally start seeing gains, but you get taxed again on the profit. And it's a frustrating cycle that makes it feel like your money is never truly yours. And in Dubai, it's the opposite, because for now, there is no income tax, and that changed everything. And it's one of the main reasons people see Dubai as a financial event. You can earn, save, and invest your money without the government taking a large portion of it. And so the global trend is moving toward more taxes, and it seems like Dubai is facing some external pressure, possibly from Europe or the United States, to follow this. But for now, the absence of income tax creates an environment where growing your wealth is far easier. And this is something I've really come to appreciate, because in Dubai, you actually get to keep what you earn. And so the second thing I find fascinating about Dubai is the message the city sends out. Paul Graham, well-known American investor and co-founder of Y Combinator, a startup accelerator that helped companies like Airbnb and Stripe, wrote an essay about the unconscious message cities send. And he explains that every city gives off a vibe, an unspoken message that shapes the way people think and behave. In San Francisco, for example, the message is all about impact. People care about what you are contributing to the world, not just how much money you make. In New York, for example, the focus shift. It's all about wealth. Whether you are a self-made millionaire or inherited your money, the key thing is you have money. In Europe, in particularly in cities like Paris, Athens or Rome, the message is rooted in the past. It was better before. And so these places celebrate their former glory, but it can feel like they are saying the best days are behind us. In France, for example, you often hear people say it was better before. And so this mindset isn't exactly motivating for someone looking to create something new. And so Dubai, on the other hand, flips this entirely. The message is the future is better than the past. And it's a city that screams possibilities. It's a city that was built in the desert, proving that anything can be achieved. Everywhere you go, you see construction projects, new ideas and innovation. And so it's an environment that consistently reminds you that tomorrow can be better than today. And for entrepreneurs, that's incredibly inspiring. When I was living in France, I was doing well. I was earning like around 500k a month in revenue and was considered one of the top entrepreneurs in the year. But I felt limited. There weren't many people in my circle doing significantly better than me. And the top level entrepreneurs like billionaires were inaccessible. Even in Paris, while there are more opportunities, the entrepreneurial scene felt small compared to Dubai. And so in Dubai, it's a whole different stories. Earning 500k a month here feels really small. You are surrounded by people driving Ferraris and Rolls-Royce, people from all over the world while achieving incredible things. And it's really humbling in the best way, because it pushes you to think bigger and aim higher. Being in a room where almost everyone is ahead of you forces you to grow. And that's the unique thing about Dubai. It's not just about the optimism of the city, it's about being in an environment where you are consistently motivated to reach the next level. And that's a mindset that can completely transform your perspective as an entrepreneur. And so another point I want to highlight is how multicultural Dubai is. You have probably heard it before, people from all over the world live here. But what's truly impressive is how well it all works. It's one of the few places in the world where such a diverse mix of culture coexists harmoniously and everything runs smoothly. And part of this is because Dubai attracts top-tier talent from around the globe. It's like they only take the best of the best. And so you are surrounded by entrepreneurs, professionals, and even athletes. And people here aren't just talented, they are also genuinely kind and respectful. Take soccer, for example. When I play here, the people I meet aren't just great at sport, they are often successful entrepreneurs or professionals, and they are really nice to be around. You've got Italian, German, English, American version, people from all walks of life, but all of them with this incredible drive and positive attitude. Everyone plays with respect and the vibe is supportive and uplifting. And back in France, I noticed a different dynamic. Soccer games often ended in an argument or fight, and the energy wasn't the same. But here is Dubai, it's the opposite. People show up, give their best, and live on good terms. It's a reflection of the broader culture in the city. One where people from different backgrounds come together and generally brings out the best in each other. And so this level of respect and cooperation is rare, and it extends beyond sports. You can see it everywhere, from the workplace to daily life. And it's one of the things that makes Dubai such a unique and inspiring place to live. One of the most impressive things about Dubai is the level of entrepreneurship and the incredible connection you can make here. For example, not long ago, I had the opportunity to visit Necker Island. That's the private island of Richard Branson, the English billionaire behind the Virgin brand. And he has built an empire: Virgin Megastore, Virgin Mobile, Virgin Record, Virgin Airline. And being invited to his island was an absolutely surreal experience. And here is how it happened. When I first arrived in Dubai, during my very first weekend here, I was invited to a yacht party by an entrepreneur. And it wasn't just any gathering, it was full of high-level entrepreneurs from all around the world. And so that's where I met a Croatian entrepreneur I had never spoken to before. And we hit it off and stayed in touch. And so a few months later, out of the blue, he messaged me and suggested that my brother, Quentin, and I join in on Branson Island. And so of course there were steps involved. It wasn't as simple as saying yes. I had to be sponsored, fill out an application, and go through a selection process, much like applying for a master's degree. But eventually we made it. And being on Necker Island and meeting Richard Branson was beyond incredible for me. He is one of my biggest idols, the person who inspired me to become an entrepreneur. When I read his book, Losing My Virginity at 20 years old, I didn't know much about entrepreneurship, but his story made me think, this is the life I want. And so for me, this experience perfectly sums up what Dubai's offer. The level of people you met here, the connection you can build, and the opportunities that come from those connections are unmatched. And so it's an environment where one introduction can lead to once-in-a-lifetime experience. And for an entrepreneur, that's priceless. Another big difference between Dubai and Europe is how they treat outsiders. Dubai is an outsider city, while Europe tends to favor insiders. In Europe, having the right connection often makes all the difference. Whether it's politics, business, or law, being part of the right circles can open doors. And so, for example, look at Bernard Arnault, one of the richest guys in the world, who built his empire by leveraging connection to acquire companies like Boussac with support from the French state. Similarly, many of Europe's most successful entrepreneurs often have ties to powerful networks. And so in Europe, it's possible to succeed without connection, I did, but to reach the very top, to move from millionaire to billionaire, you often need to play the insider game. And this is where the system can feel limiting for outsiders, because Dubai, on the other hand, is built to welcome outsiders. The city actively works to attract top talent from around the world, making it incredibly easy for ambitious people to thrive. During the war in Lebanon, Dubai offered discounted visas to Lebanese professionals, effectively recruiting skilled individuals fleeing the conflict. And so it's a smart strategy. They are always making moves to attract the best from everywhere. And so even on a personal level, Dubai stands out for its efficiency. When I moved here, I started my residency process on a Monday morning, and by Tuesday I had completed all the necessary steps: health check, blood test, and paperwork. And so within a few days, I had my residency. And it's a pro-entrepreneur system focused on removing barriers and enabling success. When you arrive, for example, at Dubai Airport, you are greeted with a display of the city 8 principles, which highlights its vision and values. One of these principles emphasizes nurturing exceptional talent, and you can feel that mindset everywhere. It's inspiring to be in a place that generally values and supports talented people. And so in contrast, most of Europe feels more focused on the past, celebrating historical achievement rather than looking forward to the future. And so while values like liberty, equality, and fraternity are foundational, they don't always translate into a forward-thinking approach for entrepreneur and innovator. Take, for example, Pavel Durov, the co-founder of Telegram, as an example. After facing pressure from the Russian government and challenge in the US, he settled in Dubai. And he openly said that Dubai is the only country where he hasn't been harassed or pressured by the government. Contrast this with his experience in France, where he was once arrested despite being invited to a high-level event by government officials. And in Dubai, the government leaves him alone, allowing him to focus on building his business, a platform now used by over 1 billion people. And so Dubai's approach to welcoming and supporting talent is unique. It's not just about efficiency, it's about creating an environment where people can succeed without unnecessary interference. And so for entrepreneurs, this is invaluable. So the city recognizes that its strength lies in attracting the best from around the world, and it works hard to make that a reality. Another point that really stands out about Dubai is how well everything works. Whether it's the restaurant, transportation, or even the tax system, Dubai is built for efficiency. You need a cab, you just open an app, click on the button, and within minutes, one will arrive. The cab driver are polite, the car clean, and the experience is seamless. Compare that to Europe. When I land at the airport, get into a cab, the driver doesn't say hello. It's a completely different story. They might start complaining about the government or the state of the country. And so it's a huge contrast to Dubai, where service is professional and hassle-free. And yeah, it's not just about the cabs, because hotel, restaurant, public spaces, everything is spotless, well-maintained, and designed for convenience. And so this city is also incredibly safe, which adds another layer of comfort. I don't know how they manage it, but the result is a place that's both efficient and enjoyable to live in. And so this focus on quality and efficiency is something I really appreciate about Dubai. It creates an environment where you can focus on what matters without getting bogged down by inefficiency or poor service. It's a refreshing change, and one of the reasons living here is such a positive experience. Another huge advantage of living in Dubai is the constant sunshine and access to the beach. Right now, it's the sunset, and I'm just 5 minutes from the beach. But it wasn't always the same. I grew up like in the north of France, where winter could reach minus 20 degrees. And so Dubai feels like a dream. In Dubai, the weather is perfect for most of the year. October, November, for example, are especially pleasant, not too hot, just right. And so this kind of weather really boosts your mood. And interestingly, there was even a study by a US investing fund that found company based in sunnier locations perform better. So sunshine impact productivity and morale, and I can see how that applies here in Dubai. Personally, it makes me feel more energized and focused. And so that brings me to another point. Dubai makes it incredibly easy to stay focused. Everything is designed for efficiency. For example, my gym is in my building, so it takes me just 5 minutes to work out. I have also someone who cooks and cleans for me, which saves a ton of time and energy. And when I was in France, having this level of help might seem as excessive, but in Dubai it's normal, and it's allow you to focus entirely on your work or personal goals. And so I've nicknamed my apartment the temple of work, because that's what life here feels like. Structure and productive. Most of my friends here are entrepreneurs, so the culture is very work-oriented. Unlike in Europe, where you might spontaneously meet friends for a drink on terrace, in Dubai, people are more focused. Even when you socialize, it's usually over something structural like a dinner at a nice restaurant. Another massive benefit of living here is the safety. As a man, I'm less likely to face the kind of street harassment women often experience in the States or in Europe, but my sister's experience speaks volumes. She lived in Dubai for 3 years and was shocked every time she returned to Europe by how often she was harassed. In Dubai, she could work anywhere, even late at night, without fear. Dubai's safety isn't just about low crime rate, it's about the systems they have in place. There are security cameras everywhere, and undercover police monitor public space like nightclub, beach, and even the airport. I once heard a story about someone behaving suspiciously at the airport. They were photo tasted and later arrested for drug possession. And so it's a zero tolerance policy, which some might find strict, but it's also what makes Dubai so safe. So this level of security extends to everyday life. You can leave your phone or wallet unattended at the beach and no one will touch it. Compare that to my experience in Europe this summer when my luggage was stolen during a short train journey. The police told me that it happens all the time, which was a stark reminder of how different the environment is. In Dubai, safety is a given. Whether you are walking home late at night, raising kids, or just leaving your things unattended at the beach, it's one of the reasons so many people, especially families, find it such a comfortable place to live. One of the coolest things about Dubai is the sheer variety of activities you can do. Whether it's motorcycling, wakeboarding, or soccer, there are something for everyone. Personally, I play a lot of soccer, but you can go horse riding, hiking, or even take a walk in the countryside. And so for water sport enthusiasts, the options are endless here. I go surfing, kite surfing, and wakeboarding, really popular year around, even in the winter. And there is also a fantastic app that make me organizing activities super easy, whether you are looking to join a soccer game or try something new. And yes, the hiking here might not compare to the lush forests of Europe, but there is some great terrain with beautiful views that's definitely worth exploring. Another thing is that geographically, Dubai is incredibly well placed, which makes traveling the world a breeze. It's just 6 hours from France and offers easy access to Asia, the Middle East and beyond. And Dubai has truly become a central hub for global travel, with its world-class airport connecting you to virtual anywhere. Another thing I love is how Dubai is evolving. It's becoming more and more westernized and open-minded. For example, it used to be that living with someone of the opposite sex was only allowed if you were married. That's no longer the case. Similarly, business that used to close on weekend now stay open, which adds convenience to the daily life. What's exciting is seeing how Dubai continue to move in a positive direction. The cities consistently adapt to attract more people and offer better quality of life. And of course, it's not all perfect. There are definitely some downside, and I will get into shortly because I'm not here to sound like a Dubai fanboy. But for now, these are just some of the reasons why living here is so appealing. So let's talk about the negative stuff. One of the negative stuff about living in Dubai, as amazing as it is, that's not your home country. No matter how much you love it here, there's always a sense of uncertainty because you are an outsider. And when you look at the region, you can't ignore the geopolitical context. Dubai is close to places like Lebanon and Iran, countries that at one point were thriving, but later face significant challenges. For example, Iran in the 1917 was prosperous and modern, but things changed drastically. Lebanon too was once known as the Switzerland of the Middle East, and today it's struggling. Could something like that happen to Dubai? While it seems unlikely right now, it's not impossible. So the city is thriving under strong leadership, but you never know what the future holds. What if there is sudden change in leadership? What if the person who takes over doesn't maintain the same vision or policies? Or what if geopolitical tension escalates in the region? These are risks that, while small, can't be entirely ignored. Another point to consider is that Dubai operates under a system that's very different from Western democracy. At the end of the day, it's not a democracy, it's an absolute monarchy. And so while it's an incredibly business-friendly and welcoming place that could theoretically change, for example, if relations between Dubai and France were to solve, policies could shift overnight, impacting French residents or businesses. And because it's a centralized system, you are ultimately subject to its rule, which can feel uncertain if you are not a citizen. And so this is one reason my brother and I hesitate about buying property here. We ask ourselves, what if everything collapses? While it seems far-fetched, it's possible. As the saying goes, it's only the paranoid who survive. And so it's wise to prepare for the worst, even as you hope for the best. Another aspect is citizenship. As much as you might love Dubai, becoming an emirate is virtually impossible unless you meet very specific criteria. And even then, it's extremely rare. This means you will always be a guest in the country, no matter how long you've lived here and how much you have been contributed. So while Dubai offers incredible opportunities and a fantastic lifestyle, these are factors to keep in mind. The chances of something going wrong are low, but they are not zero. And so it's an amazing place, but it's not home, and that's something that always lingers in the back of your mind. One thing that keep in mind about Dubai is that it's not cheap. While you can live here on different budget, there is a growing middle class. It's still a city where enjoying life comfortably requires a decent income. To give you an idea, I think that I spend around 10k a month. With that, I don't restrict myself. I have a very cool apartment, eat well, and enjoy a great lifestyle. And if you are earning 5k a month, you can still live comfortably, but your apartment might not be as centrally located, and you may need to budget more carefully. That said, Dubai is definitely more expensive than most places. When I go back to Paris, even though it's known as an expensive city, I feel like Paris is cheap by comparison. For example, a high quality meal from Deliveroo in Dubai might cost me $60, which in Paris could get you a dinner at a nice restaurant. Another consideration is the air and water quality in Dubai, which aren't great. I'm lucky to be young and healthy, so I don't have major issues, but I've heard from others, especially people with respiratory conditions, that they have developed lungs problems due to air. One of the reasons is the huge factories to make water drinkable, and it affects a lot of the air quality. And water is another concept. When my brother and I first arrived, we offered tap water to some worker helping us assemble IKEA furniture, and they refused, saying that they wouldn't drink tap water. And so we laughed it off first, but I drank tap water for a month and started feeling unwell. And now we only drink bottled water, and we switched to glass bottle like this one, because we have heard that plastic bottles are sometimes stored in warehouse where temperatures can reach like 50 degrees Celsius, which isn't great for the water quality. It's expensive. I think that we spend around 1k a month on water, but it's something we prioritize. To improve quality of life, we have also installed filter everywhere on the shower, on taps, and even for the air conditioning. Speaking of air conditioning, it's an absolutely necessity here. Without it, survival in the middle of the desert during summer would be almost impossible. And I remember that an American entrepreneur I know once joked that Dubai survival depends entirely on air conditioning. And while that's an exaggeration, it does highlight the reality of living in such an extreme climate. And these are the things you have to consider when living in Dubai. While it offers an incredible lifestyle in many ways, there are some unique challenges that come with living in a city built on the desert. It's important to be aware of them and plan accordingly. One thing to acknowledge about Dubai is that while it's an amazing city, it does have its downside. For example, there are not much nature compared to Europe. There aren't lush forests, but you still find greenery, trees, golf course, and of course the sea. The beach is a big part of my life here, and for someone like me who is not a huge nature lover, it's enough. But I will admit, whenever I visit France, seeing forests feels refreshing. It's something I realize I miss when I'm away. Another area where Dubai could improve is its infrastructure, particularly in banking, because while administrative processes are smooth and efficiency, the banking system can be surprisingly complicated. For example, opening a business bank account required us to hire someone to guide us through the process. We had to write cover letters, fill out forms, and navigate a lot of red tape. Even for personal accounts, we needed help, and it made me realize how well banks in Europe, especially in France, are set up by comparison. And then there is Dubai reputation, particularly in Europe, which is often misunderstood. Many people associate Dubai with cliches like a place for influencers, tax dodgers, or dictatorship. Some even believe it's a heaven for tourists, which couldn't be further from the truth. Dubai actively cooperates with international law enforcement, including European police and the Interpol, to deal with any troublemakers. And I've even seen reports of French police working in Dubai. So yeah, there is also the idea that Dubai export workers or steal passports. And so let me clarify this. In some cases, passports might have been held temporarily in the past, but it's not a standard practice today. This was more about ensuring that workers fulfilled their contract after employer had invested in bringing them here. And so in fact, labor laws in Dubai require employers to make strict standards, including paying for work to fly home, providing hygienic accommodation, and offering adequate rest areas. And a friend of mine runs a factory in Dubai with over 500 employees and explained that many social security measures she has required to provide. So while there is definitely room for improvement in worker conditions, the stereotype that Dubai is built purely on exploitation is overly simplistic and often inaccurate. At the end of the day, Dubai does face challenges in managing its reputation. The city has made huge strides, but in Europe, the perception is still clouded by outdated ideas and negative stereotypes. Unfortunately, because Dubai offers so much more than what these misconceptions suggest. What we do here, for example, is 100% legal. It's not tax evasion or anything shady. It's simply taking advantage of the opportunities Dubai offers within its legal framework. And so when it comes to ecology, Dubai often gets criticized for its use of air conditioning. But if you think about it, in the colder countries like Europe, France, England, people use a lot of heating in the winter. And that doesn't seem to shock anyone. I'm not an expert on this, and I know it's a divisive topic, so I won't go too deep into it, but it's worth noting that every place has its environment trade-off. Another slightly negative point about Dubai is that it's still a bit small. It's essentially a city stretched along one long road. While it's bigger than most cities in terms of infrastructure, it can still feel limited. And at some point, you have seen it all. But maybe that's part of why people are so focused here. There aren't endless distractions. Then there is the summer heat. And so everyone mentions how unbearable it is. But honestly, I think it's still better than winter in France. In Europe, winters are cold, dark, and depressing. And it's get dark early, and people don't feel like going out. When I was living in Paris, it was manageable, but I know many French people find it tough. And in contrast, summer in Dubai might be extremely hot, but the sky is always blue. The water is consistent and air conditioning is everywhere. So sure, you can't spend hours outside, but you can handle 30 minutes without problem. I can compare that to this summer when I stayed in Paris in an apartment without air conditioning. I was really miserable. I couldn't sleep, and it was a struggle every day. And so that made me realize that I did much rather deal with the heat in Dubai than a heat wave in Europe without air conditioning. And so yeah, despite these negatives, Dubai remained one of the best cities I've lived in. I've traveled to over 50 countries and visited major capitals like London, Miami, and Los Angeles. And in my opinion, Dubai outshines them all. I haven't been to New York yet, so maybe that's a contender, but I still think Dubai has an edge. That said, my favorite city will always be Paris, even with its challenges like the taxes and occasional political unrest. I love France. It's a beautiful, it's full of energy and has a charm that's hard to match. But when it's come to quality of life, opportunities, and modern infrastructure, Dubai truly stands out as a world-class city. So what's your favorite city? Tell me in the comment, and I will see you in the next video.